Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to ATI Pro Media. We're powered by advanced trading. Well, we have an interesting week this week. We're going to be open Monday and Tuesday during the day, closed Tuesday night, back open, closed Wednesday. And we're going to do business Thursday and Friday. What's interesting about this is we have July options expire. And then after that, we'll be talking about first notice day in July. So you're going to see a lot of cash trade, a lot of interesting things happen. Going to keep an eye on spreads, flat price, and of course, that cash market for you all. All right, interesting day in the markets. Probably not what you want to hear, but we got to tell you about the facts, not the feelings. Joe, take us to LaSalle Street. All right, D's corn down 4. July soybeans down 18. That's going to catch people. Nove beans down 16. Meal down, oil down. Wheat, Board of Trade, KC, hard red, 17, down 17 the board. KC says, don't worry, I'll go there too. Down 17 KC, down 10 in Minneapolis. Little bright spot in cattle. Live cattle up 20. Feeder cattle up 60. Wild markets as we talk cattle, and Brady did a great job breaking some of that down here on premium last week. Lean hogs up 130. They need a bounce. They're really trading at what we would call pretty low prices for the pork producer. Gold down, silver down. Interest rates pretty moderate. Lower, though. The bonds are down. Interest rates going up. We're talking Wall Street. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Wall Street interest rates going up. Crude oil up 62. Natural gas down 83. Like to watch natural gas when it gets hot during the summer. Dow down 100. NASDAQ down a little. S&P down 8. Bitcoin down 500. Dr. Copper down 8. All right. We've been to LaSalle Street. We've been to Wall Street. Let's get to Main Street. Bring them in. Connor B., welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Hey, happy Father's Day, Tommy.
Same to you. I have a joke, but it wouldn't be funny. All right. Happy Father's Day to you. And yeah, a lot of things going on. Great day yesterday. Great day being a father. For those who get to spend time with their father, that's awesome. And being a father is pretty awesome. But
absolutely.
every day's Father Day for you with twins. It doesn't stop. That's high energy. You can't imagine now, but one day they're just going to do their own thing, and you can't imagine that. So good times, enjoy every moment. No one's promised tomorrow. But we do have today. And when I talk about today, what are we going to talk about? I think it might actually be a short show, for real short show. If you're out there, questions, comments, drop them, and we'll get to them. Kind of
not a whole lot of news headlines that we saw. The big one is going to be how with June, to me, is going to be this weather, right? I got a commitment of Traders graph to show you, Tommy. And then looking at that, we're going to have a holiday in the middle of this, in a weather market with the markets moving very quickly. And so to me, it's very much looking at the weather here. I'm going to pull that up. And then I think you had a weather guy on for premium too. So I'll let you talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But just looking at past precipitation, it is really turning into a have and have nots. You look out west, they got good rains. Minnesota, holy crap, in the Minneapolis area got pounded. Then you go east, right? We didn't catch any rain here in central Illinois. And farther east, not looking like there's a whole lot in the forecast. So that's really the story right now. Here's just expected future precipitation, a little bit more of the same. Catching rains in the west, not looking at too much in the east. So we'll see where that story develops as we continue to trade this weather market.
If you're a farmer and you're watching the markets down and you're holding old crop and you have very little sold for new crop, and hedging 2025 sounds like only something a guy who knows a guy who does that, then you're having a bad day. You really are. And this may go down that the most expensive crop ever grown in history, the 2023 corn and bean crop, that a majority of it got sold at the lows. That low when we had March options expire, we did rally a little bit in the May options expiring, but this big time frame of July options expiring Friday could be, as we like to say, and we could ask you because you worked at an elevator, this is kind of a time where you have to confess your sins. Is that correct? If you put bushels at the elevator and it's based off this time frame, you have to make a decision.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, to me, Tommy, July is that last, this is my opinion, but July is kind of that last old crop futures month. It really shifts the focus once July options, July futures go off the board. Now, according to what's out there, there's still going to be a lot of old crop after the fact into August, September, unless we see a whole lot of selling in the next 2-3 weeks. But that's how I kind of look at it. So, yeah, we're going to see a lot of things change going to see the market move. One thing we need to talk about, Tommy, is we did the show Friday morning. We were up. We stayed up most of the day. Today's probably a good day if you got your charts ready. And then just looking at the end of that session, we saw that sell off. The night trade, we saw corn down 5. Markets open. We rallied back up to what, 2.5. And now, as I speak, we got D's corn down 5 again. So definitely not the price action we were looking for into the weekend. And then we saw that reflected in the commitment of traders report, right? Usually funds are adding to their shorts June 15th to June 17th, but that's exactly what we're seeing. So, never forget what we got on the ticker scrolling by. Past performance isn't indicative of future results. And let's keep that in mind this year when we're looking at fund positioning in markets.
Right here's that sell-off you're talking about Friday where we were doing okay, and then we sold off. No biggie, down 5 or 6, and then right at the end of the day, down 7, down 8. And then all of a sudden, as we closed down 8 on the lows, we traded down 2 cents below that from 115 to 120. I had a chance to be on AgriTalk with Mr. Chip Flory. Always enjoy being on there with Chip and Davis and the whole group over there at Firm Journal Media and AgriTalk. But Chip said, "What do you mean the after hours? When are after hours?" And the Board of Trade CME group settles up at 115. Within a few seconds, I get a mark on my ticket that says settle because I have it set that way. Always keep my ticket on settle. So give it like 15 seconds after the markets close. They settle it very quickly, and then we traded 2 cents below that. Last night, we opened right there and traded down and then traded up. So we've been both ways. We've been down 5, down 1, down 5, down 1. Now, again, we're down 4, moving our way back towards the low. So the aftermarket, folks, is from 115 to 120. You can still trade that. So if I chose to, I could have went home long corn, 2 cents below settle. I didn't want that risk over the weekend. I went home long flat. That's just me personally. All right, but you out there, American farmer, you're long. You're long a little old crop, even if it's that last 10,000 bushels in the bin. Real quick note, and I didn't bring it up, and I don't know who the service was, and there's not a lot of money in bashing people, but Ben Renchie from Iowa posted an article from his paper of a service in his paper that gives cash market advice, and I think they were still long 50% of the 23 crop or 40%. And he's like, when are they going to sell it, right? And other people then chimed in on the thread. But Ben's a friend. I do like. He's interesting that he'll grab something and call it out. And he's like, who has money to hold a depreciating asset and pay interest rates on it? So I like when a farmer gets involved in the finance side and puts it out on social media. If you want to talk with him, chat with him, call him. He's a nice guy. You want to argue with him, you're allowed to do that. But he was pulling no punches and saying, really, this is your advice? And maybe that's why it's in the paper for free. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where it comes back to, you and I in advanced trading, we're not real into the scale up selling, right? And just throw some targets out there. You hope you get 20, 30% sold. We got to manage 100% of your price risk. And so I think that's what we try and do. And that's what I think is the best marketing plan.
Right. Let's give folks, they want an example of what we do, right? I know on the premium subscription, when we start it, they said, can you be more specific with advice? I'm like, I can give it to you. I don't know if you'll do it. But before we started the show, you said we have, as a firm, we have a lot of July short dated options to roll out. Now, note, if I remember my notes right, and Joe, give me a thumbs up, PJ put in his notes that short dated open interest in grains and corn, particular in corn, hit 200,000 contracts. So myself, you, our clients, advanced trading, we have thousands of these short dated options that we're going to pop out and then do something with that. So we have this risk to manage. And in my mind, we have today and tomorrow. And then we got to be careful because we can gap and go on Thursday. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, just about how options expire Friday. Then we've got markets close Wednesday in the middle of a weather market, right? The uncertainty of what the crop's going to do. We could see some really interesting and hopefully bullish price action, but we're not seeing it today, Tommy. And so looking forward, we got July option expiration Friday, holiday Wednesday, and then keep in mind June 28th, we're going to see that acreage report. And so that's going to be another big it could really move the markets. Last year we saw it we added 3-4 million acres to corn, took it away from soybeans. It completely flipped the landscape in a whole 10 minutes of when we got that data. So that's going to be a big one, right? We'll see what it says and go from there. But Yeah. And then factoring in weather as well too is going to be the main headline for the next couple of weeks.
Well, people want specific advice, and we'll give that to them on the premium. Let's talk about Friday, what we sent out. You know this guy, Handsome Alert right there. Tell us about the segment we had with Dr. Cruz. It's about a 45-minute segment, and boy, does he break it down. This is a premium content only. You had a meeting at corporate. What did Dr. Cruz talk about?
Yeah, my favorite thing when I'm going to focus mostly what he talked about on South America is he gives us an what the landscape is right now, right? How are they on their first corn crop harvested? How are they on the soybean crop harvested? Where are they at with the safrinha corn crop? How is it coming out of the field? And then looking at weather functions that are doing it, right? The near term. But then also what Dr. Cruz does so well is I love when he looks, he had a great chart that showed how planted acreage has increased the past 20 years, the past 40 years in Brazil and South America. And then also, what can we expect for the next 20 years, right? If we've more than, what was that stat, Tommy, that they've increased? Was it like over 10x? I can't remember. We'll have to go back.
From when I was a kid, when I started at the Board of Trade, we didn't even talk about South America that much. In the early 90s, they were a small part of what was happening in the bean pit to a big part. So, they have to subscribe. And of course, we can get them access to Dr. Cruz. So if you're a premium subscriber and you say, I want to talk to Dr. Cruz, go ahead. If you're an advanced trading customer, you can too. I mean, it's not, we don't keep them locked up and only for special events. The guy is just, it's a privilege and an honor to work with him. He's just a great resource, and I'm glad we have him. So if you're out there and you had another firm, don't go taking him. He's our star quarterback when it comes to South America. All right, we wrapped it up. Mr. Don Wick, as we always do on Saturdays, talk about a pro. This guy is the best of the best. When it comes to DC, what's going on in the Northern Plains, overall markets, we touched on markets a little bit, always fun. Hey, we already got at it early this morning. Mick did premium weather, and we did a nice little 5-minute video audio on that. Mick Care, he's a legend. I mean, Mick's been in the media weather business for 40 years, so we're privileged to have him as a premium contributor. Okay, real quick peek this afternoon. It's already taped, but it's going out. Mr. Troy Presley talks about everything happened in Western Built. Him and Brady really deep dive into wheat. That's premium, folks. That's we're creating content here, and you only get it if you have $1 a day. If you don't have $1 a day, give me a call. I have an extra $1. I'm sure we could work something out. All right, Luke, he's a premium subscriber, and he has that ATI Pro Media sweatshirt and cup. So he's getting his money's worth out there. Heck, if you subscribe for a month, we'll send you a flag. So it's free for the first month, as far as I say, if you like America. All right, read this one off.
Yep. On Friday afternoons, Agri Talk, you spoke, meaning you, Tommy, spoke about running to the pits after the electronic trading closed for the day. What was the best or worst trade you made because you decided to take that run? Oh, Luke, good question.
Well, I'll flip it on you. A lot of times I wouldn't run to the pit, but I would call a broker like a Kevin Duffy or someone, and he would and I couldn't get a hold of the brokers in the pit. So one time, right for the markets closed, I took home a huge long position in corn, and I couldn't get a hold of my broker in the pit. And so I took it home, but we gapped open higher that night and it worked out. Of course, futures and options have risk. There was a great chart on Twitter that said, if I buy, and it was a picture of the market going down, if I sell, the market going up, and when I think there's going to be volatility, and it was the market going sideways. And that's kind of sometimes how traders feel, that sure, we can all go out for a cup of coffee and talk about the good ones, but there's a lot of bad ones too. Farmer Brett.
How come you called grains a depreciating asset? Because it's cost of storage? Just wondering.
I'll let you, today they are, right? Like 2 months ago, you might have thought they were appreciating. Because you want to answer it?
I guess I don't want to put words in your mouth, but when I think of it, especially looking at your 23 crop, right? It's a depreciating asset, number one, because the price has went lower since last fall, right? Significantly lower. If we're paying interest on it.
That's what I was going to say.
If we're, the interest cost, right? If we're paying interest on it, we're losing money sticking it in the bin if the market isn't rallying. And so, and then also you got to factor in the inventory risk and the shrink factor too, right? Usually you put all those calculations. If there's a carry market, we can still make money, right? This isn't an don't put any grain in the bin ever. Absolutely not. But right now it's a depreciating asset if we didn't do any type of protection or didn't market those bin bushels accordingly.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that real quick. Farmer Brett, hold that question. speaking of putting grain in the bins, advanced trading commercial, when we do merchandising magic with Michael Reginelli and Kurt Struber and other commercial brokers, or when you and I were down there, how much fun is that? We went out with Kurt and we used the Paul credit card, and we really got to sit and learn. You, Joe, myself, a young man who might come to work with us, and a client. Our commercial department will help you work with these bins. Some people have bins, some people need bins, some people don't have bins. Whether you're any of those three, I have 0 bins, we can help you. I have a few bins, we can help you. I like to store everything. Okay, should you? We can help you. But our commercial department works with some of the biggest and the best, and they are knowledgeable cash grain brokers. They talk, speaking of talking, the couple who came into our live meeting, they said, when we hear Nathan Mangold speak, we don't understand everything he's saying. I said, nor do we as farmer marketing brokers. We don't have to. We know we work with smart people. I don't need to figure out zone this, zone that, the river. I just call those guys. That's the beauty of working here. And if we don't want to work here, then we're going to have to find another bunch of those guys, because we work with some of the smartest in the business. Agreed?
Absolutely.
So to your client, I don't need to know that stuff. My partner does, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well said. Keep going. Here's a good tie-in. We're really talking about bin storage here. Anecdote here, but there's a local farmer here that farms just under 100,000 acres. He owns half of it, and he keeps his bins full year-round and only sells when he needs money.
That's someone who doesn't love America and want to pay taxes, because that's a serious tax problem. I mean, to have that much grain, God bless, right? I'd like to I'd like to help them market grain, but actually I don't like clients like that, because they don't market grain. I have a couple hoarders, and they're hard to work with. And sometimes they really pull off a good one. I mean, you have that much grain into Ukraine war, you're set for years. But over bad times being AKA 2015 through 20, that just worked against you. And I got to tell you, a lot of farms went for sale quietly. A lot of little farms were sold off. These people who sold the land are still farming, but they had gotten a little pinch. 17, 18, 19, 20, sold 80, 160, just quietly to a friend or a neighbor who was better well capitalized. So a lot of deals happen during bad times you don't hear about, and that will happen again. Unfortunately, that will happen again. Questions, comments? Keep them coming.
Yeah, well said. I mean, sometimes the story can ignore. If you had all the bins full through the Ukraine war, it worked out pretty well. This year, it's not doing so well. You and I talked. I think you asked that question at dinner, or maybe it was even at our meeting Thursday. Was how come we don't see farmers do more short or long futures, right? And the general answer was it's hard to see that. It's hard to manage that margin call, and it's hard to see it be real. But my thing, if I had 100,000 acres and almost all of that in the bin, let's put a dollar value on that and what that dollar value was 6-7 months ago, and realize, right, make it real. Put it to dollars instead of looking at it as bushels. And I think it helps you make better marketing decisions.
I'll give you one step above that from a Wall Street perspective. Take all that grain and put it on a dollar value and what it would have made in the S&P 500 or at a 5% CD. So simply, that grain could have been turned into cash, put in at 5%. Any bank in America should do that. If not, you need a new bank. And then 2, what would it have done if you comfortable taking a little bit more risk and would have indexed it versus the S&P 500? And that's very easy math to do. You just say, hey, from October of 23 till now, how much did the S&P 500 go up or down? And it's interesting. Great questions. Any more? Hey, we thought we're going to have a short show. I got to tell people, we were a friend of mine has a podcast, and he's always asking people to like and subscribe. And he said that only 40% of the people watching his show subscribe to the channel. So I looked up our metrics, and we have the exact same metrics. Only 40% of the people watching the show today actually subscribe to the Advanced Trading YouTube. So we need your help. Tell a friend, subscribe, hit notifications, get the word out. We're doing this for free every day to try to add value. If you want more value, we'll do premium. We love doing that. And that's $1 a day. You go to www.atipromedia. Takes 45 seconds. Subscribe. Any more questions or comments? Grain's on the lows. Yeah. Facts, not feelings. But I'm bearish, and even my feelings are hurt, because I understand what this does to a family farm and the stress this adds. It's supposed to be summer. Now it's hot and dry, and watching the markets go down, that wears at a guy or a gal. And it's good that you keep talking, keep that line of communication open. Don't freeze up. Some bad things happen when people freeze up in anything in life. Any more questions, comments?
Yeah, here we go. Luke again. Early corn starting to tassel in North Carolina. Lots of cotton abandonment as well. Mostly the early planted cotton that had a poor stand. Most replanted in soybeans. Along those same lines, Luke, is we're starting to see wheat harvest central, right? Not a whole lot of wheat in the dead center of central Illinois, right? Macon County doesn't have it, but you go south, just a little bit south of me, we're starting to see wheat harvest wrap up. So we've got a hot, dry forecast. We're going to be able to get beans planted. Our double crop beans are going to be planted in, the 20th, 22nd. That's potential for good. Wheat yields are good, and we got a lot of potential for some pretty good double crop beans as well. So it'd be good to see.
Yeah, real quick note. If you've ever missed a show, Gina G wants to tell you where you could watch them and listen to them. I looked at the metrics for Buzzsprout. New records last week for Apple listeners and Spotify. We're going to play this short clip. If you've ever missed a show, go to any of these four and you can catch it. Watch this.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to watch more episodes, you can find us on YouTube, Acres TV, or you can listen to us on Apple or Spotify.
Now, real quick, your clients, you know what they said to me? I can't believe I got to say this on national TV. They said, "Is that your daughter?" They said to me, "Is that your daughter?"
Yeah. I didn't know that.
No, I haven't told anyone. I'm telling everyone now. There's 200 and some people watching live. So I know the market's on the low, but Connor's clients think that's my daughter. Well, do I have news for you? No, that's my wife, and we have a few daughters. All right, Gina G telling you, YouTube, watch the replay. Acres TV, watch the replay. Listen, Apple and Spotify, please click like, subscribe, download it. Go for a walk, clear your head. Well, don't go for a walk. Go for a walk early. It's going to be hot today. All right, questions, comments. I'm in a good mood. Even though the markets are down, I want to give away a flag. I know you're getting bummed out looking at these prices. D's corn down 6, July beans down 20, the wheat's down 18 to 13. Cattle and feeders having a better day. If you need a free flag, give us a call, 1-855-737-FARM, or email us at info@ATI Pro Media. We're going to give out a flag. Yes, sir. I feel like you want to say something.
I was going to say, I'm looking at these markets.
Full screen, Connor B.
No. I want to see a chart. Let's pull up a July wheat chart. Let's look back on that journey that is July 24.
And we said we didn't have
week.
a show for him. Huh. Look at that. Let's go to daily, sir. Woof.
And look at that. So we started that run up middle April 18th, right? And now we are back trending back to below 594. So what a run up and down we saw in Board of Trade in the whole wheat complex, but just looking at
more than halfway back. I work with a coworker. He kind of looks like a little leprechaun, Brady Huck. He did a video like this right here. And you remember what the title of that video was on this day?
I remember it very well. It was "This Is Me Pushing You," right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great video. We have it. If you want to subscribe, or if you missed it as a subscriber, we'll resend it. He said, "Tommy, let's just tell him, like, this is that tap on the shoulder. This is that tap. Even if you're long corn knows wheat's rallied $2, and this is what it gave you, that 40-cent rally." So Brady Huck, why didn't you push me harder? Premium content right here.
And I was going to say, we're well off the highs, corn, soybeans, wheat, all of them, but it is June 17th. So I think my call to action would be, historically, this is not the time to do nothing. Okay. If you're seeing stress on your crops, if you're worried about this market's going to react significantly post USDA report, maybe it will. Maybe we do stay hot and dry. We can still be bullish, but June 17th is not the time to be naked bullish, Tommy. We need to be doing something to protect price. That's what history shows us.
Yeah, ending the show with grains on low. Little optimism, though. We'll do a special this week with Brady. Brady had some great stuff coming out of the cattle market, and they need higher prices. So leaving you with this optimism, how the cattle market's still doing well. There's always something you could learn. I hope we're giving you a little bit of information every day. Closing thoughts, Connor B. I'm looking for the end button. I want to get out of here. Our little show that was only going to go 10 minutes went 26. Joe and Rick, thank you. You know they're laughing. You know they're like, if you could get them to, if you can get Tommy to be quiet within 10 minutes, I'll give you a flag. So closing thoughts, Connor B, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, it's going to be a short week, right? Markets are going to move fast. They're moving fast right now. Close Wednesday. So start thinking, right? It's if you haven't been thinking about marketing, you've been very busy. Now's the time. And if we can help you, please reach out anytime.
See you, buddy.
See you.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.